Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to review the Masters of the Universe Origins line MANTENNA action figure. And this is the original, from the original line. It's the one I actually have from when I was a kid. He's still in pretty good shape. And we will compare the two afterwards. So, start by looking at the... Got the sticker, it says the Evil Horde right here, and it says eyes really pop out, in case you don't believe them. MANTENNA, evil spy with the pop out eyes. And then we look at the back. Alright, the loyal spy for Horde uses his protruding eyes to fire electrical blasts at his enemies. I didn't even know he could do that. And we got some of the upcoming figures that's coming out. We got King Hiss back here in his exposed form, and we got Ratlore and Tongue Lasher, and we got Horde and Grizzlor. So we got the Evil Horde already fighting off some Snake Men that's coming soon. On the back it's got the 2000, I call it the 2000X He-Man and the 2000X Skeletor. It's the version that looks kind of like the early 2000 Masters of the Universe cartoon versions. And it's got MANTENNA on his own card here, and Pighead. But all those came out in one wave, so that's why they got him on there, even though it's his figure. And let's see, we got it says press down on the lever on the back of his head, and the eyes pop out. And you can twist into powerful battle positions, which is a feature just about that they put on just about everyone on the back of the card. So already I can tell the difference from this one and the original is that the feature is on the back of his head, the lever, where the original one, it was in the back. So I think that means his head will be, yeah, I think you can take his head off and turn it, where the original one you couldn't turn his head, it was all fixed. So that's going to be pretty cool. And the other difference that's pretty obvious already is that the original one, he has 4 legs, as you can see in this picture. And on the original, they were all like molded together, so it was really just 2 legs, even though it's supposed to look like 4. And on this one, he actually has 4 legs. So this is pretty cool. A pretty cool upgrade, I would think. Update and upgrade, I guess. So we're going to open him here. What I usually do is on these cards, I get me a knife in here and I just cut the bubbles off mine. I don't try to peel them off. And I just make sure I get that blade up under the comic so I don't cut that. I usually just use a box cutter for all my figures to open them. I usually just cut the bubble straight off and don't worry about the tearing the background in. I know it leaves some plastic on the card, but at least don't have a big old torn looking place on the card. So that's just my preference. You just gotta make sure you get under that comic so you don't cut it when you do it. Sometimes the comics will stick to with the plastic. This one may actually do that. I might be able to show you. No, it's actually pretty loose. Sometimes the plastic, the glue will get on the comic and then you end up tearing it anyway. Even if you do pull the plastic off, it kind of tears it. Alright, so we got our mini comic, The Horrors of Pighead. And it features the 2000X Skeletor and He-Man and Pighead. I would assume MANTENNA. Let's flip through it here. Don't tell me MANTENNA's not in this comic. Okay, there he is. Alright, we'll look at that in a minute. And as always, they show you all the parts that's removable. I accidentally cut that part. I forgot about this part in there, so I got my blade in there and caught it. But, so you can take his legs off, you can take his feet off, you can take his arms and head off. And nobody ever actually swaps these out, I don't think. I hadn't seen anything where they have, but I'm sure somebody has. But that's actually a pretty cool feature of these new ones. They're kind of like, well, giant Legos in a way. Okay, and I saw somebody making a comment about this the other day. They're like, do you cut your straps to get the figure free? Usually what I do is I try to work them out without cutting the tabs. Sometimes they have those stretchy bands. And then sometimes they have these that have like little anchors. So what I actually do is I work, if they have the anchors and I can't get it to slip out without undoing those, sometimes you can just kind of pull on them and they'll pop out. And you can always put those back if you don't cut it. Some people think you have to cut it to get them out, but you don't really. And if not, you can actually work one end of the, there's a little it's like a little anchor. If you work one end of that through the hole, the other one will slip through and you can always thread it back through. So I'm going to try that real quick and show you what I mean. They're pretty stretchy. So, and if I may have to get some needle nose pliers. If this one's not tight, sometimes they're too tight to get the stretchy. And you might need some needle nose pliers to pull on, but I don't know how good I can zoom in on this with it focused in. But there's a little hole where it comes through the plastic, and if you take that and you stick one end of that anchor through that hole like that, and just push it on through, you still have your strap without having to cut it, if you ever did want to try to put it back in the bubble. But I usually don't even keep the bubbles for these. But I guess if you did want to try to do that, you could. And sometimes once you get one loose, you can get the other ones out if you can tilt one forward or something. But another thing is these arms come off, so you could always like go ahead and pop the arm off and slide it through. Sometimes depends how much stretchiness you got. Now this one I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to pull it and see if it comes through. See, so you can actually just pull it and it comes through, and it didn't even mess up the hole. I don't know how. I think you can see that it didn't even mess the hole up. So that's usually how I just do it. I just usually pull them and they pop right out. I'm going to do the same thing on this one. But if you want to be real careful, you could do, like I said, just kind of feed one side of the anchor through. And this one's going to be a little stubborn, I think. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try to pull this one through from the other. Oh, okay, hang on. It's hanging on his arm here. Once I get this side free, I can usually get a better leverage on it to pop that through. And there you go. It's all intact. So you do not have to cut these to get them out. As you can see, I could keep this and strap him back to it, stick him back in the bubble, set him in front of his card if I want to make him look like he was still packaged. Or you want to display them for a while and then you want to store them away back on the card or in the bubble to protect them, you can do that. So I do keep the cards. I love figure cards. I have like a whole box where I keep them all. Keep all my Star Wars Vintage Collection cards and Masters of the Universe cards. And I have, like, I think every card from a figure I've ever opened. I actually had every figure card from the original Kenner line when I was a kid, and I loved just sitting there and looking at them. Because when you were a kid, you didn't have the internet to go look at pictures. So, I mean, that was your way of just kind of getting your Star Wars feel by looking at the pictures of the figures on the back, especially that checklist on the back. It had all the figures listed. And I had them all in a shoebox under my bed, and my grandma came to help my mom clean the house. And one day I said, "Where's my action figure cards?" And my mom called my grandma. She's like, "Oh yeah, he had a box full of garbage under his bed. I threw them away." And I remember that to this day, how mad I was. And she remembers it to this day, even though she's got dementia now, I think. And it's pretty funny because she remembered how mad I was as a little kid that she had thrown away my Star Wars card backs. So, back to this. This is already a cool figure in my mind here. Each foot even has the ability to flex. So you can really pose him in a lot of different positions just from those 4 legs. He was always I think he was always my favorite Horde figure anyway when I was a kid. But he's even more my favorite Horde figure now, I think. Him and Grizzlor. Grizzlor is cool. Leech was kind of lame. He had a cool feature, but it was I could never get him to stick to things the way he looks like he should. Alright, so he has all the articulation as your normal Masters of the Universe Origins figures, as far as the wrists and the elbows and the knees. Wait, make sure. Yeah, the knees do bend, each one. And they all turn at the calf. So he is super articulated. To be a regular figure and not a deluxe, that's kind of impressive, because I would almost think that he would have been a deluxe figure. Okay, and like I said, between the original and this one, much better articulation and playability. This one has the lever on the back that makes his eyes pop out, and this one has it on the back of his head. Now, the one thing that I noticed right off, though, is the original figure, you could pop them out, and you can make them be staying out if you want to pose him that way. This one, you have to hold down on it to make them stay bugged out. It's got a spring. The other one doesn't have a spring. It just pushes up. It's all one piece, and you're just pushing them up. And this one's spring loaded, so they pop right back if you're not holding the lever. I guess you could kind of stick that down somehow if you wanted to, but that's more of a play feature anyway. I guess you might want to pose him that way, like he's shooting laser beams at somebody or whatever it said on that card back. But I do wish you could make it lock in place or something. It looks like they could have a little lock on the trigger to make it lock down or something. But I'm not complaining, because for a basic figure, this is awesome. And he comes with his bowcaster thing. I always thought that was supposed to be Leech on those, but apparently it's a bat, which is kind of shaped like a bat, so I guess that makes sense. And with these, they don't. I kind of wish the updated ones of these had like a stem for them to put. I mean, he can hold it in his hand. He's got a hand that would hold it. Oh, that's the other thing about the original. The original had this fist over here. You couldn't ever make him hold anything. And this hand was bent this way all the time. You couldn't flex it or anything. So it always looked like his hand was curved under. So you can do a lot more different types of poses with this. But I wish this was, you could hold it kind of like a gun. But it still has that feature the original ones did, where it's kind of like a little clip. And it's a kind of a small clip, really. I guess if you strap it right there, it's okay. But if you go back here, it's too wide with these fin things he has on his arms. So really, that's the only place you can snap it. And it looks, I mean, if a stem was there, it actually would be, that's where it would be. So, I mean, it actually does look pretty good. He looks like he's holding it with a stem, even though he doesn't. So, okay, I'll take that back. It's okay. I'm not going to complain about that. But I do wish you could lock the eyes down in a position where they'd stay. Other than that, my only complaint, really. I'm really happy with this one. Like I said, I would think this would have been a deluxe figure with... I guess they could have done a deluxe figure and had two heads you could swap. One with the eyes out and one with them in. But then it wouldn't have the playability feature. You'd have to swap heads every time you want him to get somebody. So that would definitely be a trade-off. But for a basic figure, I'm really happy with it. Let's look at this mini comic now. Let's stand these guys up in the back. He stands a lot easier than the original one, that's for sure. With those 4 legs, you can really make him stay in place. Alright, so we got Masters of the Universe, The Horrors of Pighead. Try to zoom in on this and read it. By the power of Grayskull, darkness covers all Eternia. No sunlight touches the first planet, causing chaos. Temperatures drop, food supplies fall, and people suffer. He-Man believes he found the cause of this curse. I have the power! This big old monster's going roar, and then he slaps it with his big sword. And that's the 2000X sword. That's how it looked in the 2000 cartoons. So. And then I guess the monster goes, "Grah!" Then he believed wrong. He-Man's like, I do not understand. And then he goes to see the sorceress at Castle Grayskull. Says, defeating the Light Eater did not break the darkness. What is happening, sorceress? She said, I do not know. It is as if the sun disappeared from the solar system altogether. And then Sunman comes in. I believe I have some answers. And they're both like, Sunman! It is good to see you, my friend. And you as well, He-Man. Unfortunately, we do not have time for pleasantries. Time is of the essence. Eternia's sun is indeed disappearing, and I know the culprit. These are the deeds of my greatest enemy. And then it cuts to Skeletor in the Cave of the Defiled Ones. Ah, Skeletor, you received my message. I did, whoever you are. State your business. We are one and the same, Skeletor. Both of us exiled from society, refused our rightful place as ruler. Both of us searching for power. You want Castle Grayskull. I can help you, but for one small favor. You have it. You have my curiosity. What do you propose? It's Pighead. The sun must die. His name is Pighead. He is a powerful evil demon banished to the shadows by my people. Now he is here to harvest the Eternia's sun. The sorceress says, when did you see this? I didn't. I tracked down a spy who did. He dumps MANTENNA on the floor out of a bag, and he goes, oof. And then He-Man says, MANTENNA? And then MANTENNA says, let me go! And he zaps him. He zaps some man with his eyes. And then nothing happens, and he says, uh-oh. And then Sunman, oh, that looks like it hurts. Sunman grabs him by his eye stems. Foolish, wicked one, my skin is unbreakable. Ouch, I surrender. I'll tell you what you want. I would too, somebody grab me by my eye stems, dang. Okay, where are Skeletor and Pighead? There it is, Sunman, the Temple of the Sun. We must hurry. Yes, yes, devour the sun down to its final fleck. I guess I should read this other part first. The Sunstone, an ancient Eternian artifact that generates incredible power by absorbing the sun's energy. Now amplified with Skeletor's dark magic, it has nearly absorbed the sun itself. And then he says, yes, yes, devour the sun down to its final fleck. And Skeletor says, I can feel it. I can feel the power from the Sunstone. It's plenty to take down the walls of Grayskull. Alright, and then we get to this one. Let me get the focus. Not so fast, Skeletor. Pighead, you will release the sun at once. You're too late, fools. You are no match for the combined might of Skeletor and Pighead. Not with the Sunstone in our possession. Mwahaha. Where are you going, Pighead? We had a deal. This is why you never make a deal with a demon. I didn't realize Pighead was a demon, so that's kind of something new. Finally, the power of the sun is mine. I will rule this land, starting with Castle Grayskull. He walks through a portal with that sunstone. It's amazing how many different cartoons had a sunstone in it. I know it's like Ewoks, and apparently this one, and I know there's 2 or 3 more. All right. Power of the sun, shine down on me. Give me the strength for all to see. No, impossible. Arg! Sun power. And then Pighead lays there defeated. And then the next morning and every morning after that. And then you got your pictures of that wave. So the end. Pighead, the wicked enemy of some man. And they also knew for 22 on there, by the way. I wish these little mini comics had like numbers. So you kind of like a comic book has issue numbers. Just so you can kind of have a checklist and follow the flow that they, I don't know if some of them may have an order that's chronological. I'm not sure. I think most of them are standalone, but I believe these Snake Man comics that's coming out are going to be kind of like a ongoing continuation thing. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but that CamoCon card said to be continued with the Snake Man, and I'm thinking maybe it's going to pick up where that card left off. So maybe the comics have a chronological order too, and they tell like one story, like one overall story. So thanks for joining and watching the video, and I plan to do a lot more of these. I actually have the Sunman and Pighead 3-pack back here. I haven't opened that one yet. I do have one that's an open Pighead and an open Sunman. I know there's some differences. So, and then Space Sumo, he's in that. So I don't have him open yet. So, and then I got the 2000X He-Man. So I'll be opening those soon, along with other things. And so subscribe and check back, and thanks for watching.